Hey crew, it's Bit, and I'm back with our birthday tarot reading for August the 5th of 2025. We will be pulling 8 cards from the Divine Feminine deck, 8 cards from the Divine Masculine deck in accordance with the 8 human chakras, so that we can get a better understanding of how we can best manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. I have already done a pre-shuffle on the cards, but I like to get a couple more just to make sure that everything is exactly where Spirit would have it to be. And now that that is done quite terribly, the cards go where the cards want to go. Let us begin pulling with the base. And in the base we have the King of Pentacles. In the sacral we have the 8 of Cups. In the solar plexus we have the 8 of Wands. In the heart we have the Devil in reverse. The 8 of Pentacles, or the 8 of Cups was also in reverse. In the throat, we have the Chariot in reverse. In the third eye, we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. And in the crown, we have the World. And then rounding out our message from the Divine Feminine on the bottom of the deck, we have the 9 of Cups. Next up, we're going to be pulling from the Divine Masculine. The Divine Feminine, the 8 cards that are already presented, tell us what the current situation is. The Divine Masculine lets us know what steps and actions that we can take to best manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. These are positive steps and actions that we can take to help bring the manifestation into actual being. And we begin with the Crown, and in the Crown we have the 10 of Pentacles. In the third eye we have the Sun. The 10 of Pentacles was in reverse. In the throat, we have Justice in the reverse. In the heart, we have the 2 of Cups in the reverse. In the solar plexus, we have the 7 of Wands in the reverse. In the sacral, we have the 3 of Pentacles. And in the base, we have the 2 of Swords. And rounding out our message from the Divine Feminine on the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords. Alright, let's dive in and see what Spirit is telling us today. We begin in the bottom, the base, because that is base existence. Do you have a home? Do you have food? Do you have a job? Do you have money? All of that is the provision of the base. It is also the area that deals with love and wrath, so you may be giving away a little bit too much physical affection. You may not be receiving the physical affection you feel like you deserve, or emotional affection. And neither one of those are particularly good in and of themselves. You've got the King of Pentacles currently unfolding in your life. The Divine Feminine tells us what the current situation is. The Masculine tells us the steps that can be taken. And so your current situation is generational provision, right? You are probably employed well. You're probably in a position of authority just because of where this card falls on the path, right? The first path is just having a job. The second path is mastery of it, and mastery of it includes being in a position of authority. So this is probably you being able to provide for yourself and your family. That is not a guarantee, but that is the overarching energy of this card. He is seated in his position of authority. He has his pentacle here, and he is surrounded by all of the bounty of the world, right? All of those things around him are the fruits of his labors. Now, clarifying that with some actions that can be taken from the Divine Masculine, we have the 2 of Swords, and this is a tough choice, right? You have this current provision and you are being presented with a tough choice. This can be leaving a position where you are relatively comfortable. What we see, she is blindfolded. That is a tough way to make a decision if you do not have the ability to see, right? That makes it kind of tough. She is seated in this position where she has the emotions behind her and all of the world in front of her, right? She has the moon over her head, so it is at night. She has these 2 swords crossed, and that is a sharp decision that can hurt something, right? Moving either one of those can lead to injury. Making a decision can lead to less than ideal results. Pentacles, I didn't hit it, but pentacles are body, right? This king down here is representing provision. It is, do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food? Do you have money? Just like the base. And so you have the provision card in the provision slot. Your current situation is being provided for, but you are being called to a choice. Swords are about thoughts and communication. So this can be communicating to someone else a choice that you are making, or it can be that you have been presented with an idea that you need to make a decision about. Swords are soul, they are air, they are thought, intellect, and communication. And so this can be related to any of those, but it is probably related to communicating an idea. And so overall, this is very good, right? You have generational provision. This is you seated in a position of authority, the divine masculine for the suit in perfect maturity. And this is making a decision, not necessarily having all of the options available to you when you make it, but still making the decision even though it may seem a little bit hard. Next up, we move to the sacral, and the sacral is the area of physical generation. It can be sexual generation because this particular area governs lust and chastity, and so it may be wanting to make a child. It can be you giving away a little bit too much energy in the physical affection realm. It can be you not receiving enough, and neither one are particularly good. And what you have is a brand new emotional opportunity of a higher nature being presented. This is the Eight of Cups, and I've been using these two decks for just over a month. I just noticed that today. It's been just over a month, and this is the very first time that this card has shown up. I have not yet seen this card at all. This is an emotional presentation of a new opportunity. It is cups, and cups are about emotions. It is body, spirit. It is feelings. It is water. It is familial relationships, it is spousal relationships, it is co-worker relationships, it is just friendships, but it is not the people, right, the physical things. It is the emotions attached to it. That's what cups govern. 8 is a new opportunity being presented to you. Now you have this in the reverse, which means that the opportunity is there, but you may not recognize it, right? You're not making it, you are not realizing that it is there. When this is upright, it is, hey, look, there's a path over here that I can go. But in order to do that, I have to turn my back to all of these emotional situations. Right? This is 8 emotions arrayed behind him. Now, the number is not quite arbitrary, but these are all empty cups when it is shown in its fullness. Like, you really can't make it out in the gold foil, but they are empty cups that he is leaving behind in order to find the full cups in the future. He is taking a new path. This is the realization that there is a new path. It deals with emotional fulfillment. This is emotional maturity. The 7 of Cups is making appropriate decisions about your emotions in light of the virtues and vices. Well, this is leaving behind the things of the world, the emotional attachments, in order to achieve that. This is not making the choice to do it. This is being presented with the opportunity. This is recognizing that the opportunity is there. Now, you have this in the reverse, which means that you are probably not recognizing an opportunity that is there, right? This opportunity is presented, even if it's in the negative. That means like the reversals aren't necessarily negative. They are just the opposite, right? So if this is telling you that you need to go and find this new path, this is that the path is being presented to you. If this is you realizing that there is a new path, then this is you not realizing that the path is there. But the path is still there. You just haven't seen it yet. Now, clarifying that with some actions that can be taken. How do you flip this card around so that you do realize that there is a new path? A spirit of communication and cooperation. More cooperation than communication. This is Pentacles. It is about provision. This is a 3, which means that it is about learning, right? You get presented with a choice with the 2. You learn the things of that choice with a 3, and then you understand them with a 4. This is you in a spirit of cooperation. You are this guy on the bench right here. You are the one actually making the carving. One of these guys is the one that is paying for the artwork. The other one is the one instructing you in how to do the artwork. And the 3 of you are working together to make sure that the work gets done. This is learning, right? You are the apprentice, learning the trade craft. Now, you're already provided for, and so this is a spirit of cooperation around an emotional opportunity that you do not yet realize. And so there is probably someone else that is going to help you to learn about this emotional opportunity. This can be a sexual partner. It does not have to be. It can be a business partner. This is the area of physical generation. It is what you are trying to bring into your life. You envision it with your third eye. You invest your energy through your heart into the divine. But this is the positive steps that you can take. There is no manifestation without positive steps. And so this is you working with someone else to realize that this emotional opportunity is even there. Next, we're going to go to the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is quite literally what changes your food into fuel. You consume things through your throat, it goes to your intestines, right, and then it becomes fuel. This is tied to your stomach. This is the area that deals with gluttony and temperance. So are you over consuming the things of the mortal coil? Are you under consuming the things of the mortal coil? This is that area of responsibility. Now, for you today, you are being faced with sudden change being presented to you. This is upright. It is an 8, right? We just talked about the 8 being the new opportunity. You're not realizing this emotional opportunity, but you are realizing this change, right? You feel this change coming in. It's probably due to this choice that you are being presented with. This is you. This is a change coming into your life, right? This is you realizing that that change is happening. And this is a rather rapid one, right? This is one of the movement cards in the tarot. You see these 8 wands are all in the air. Somebody has thrown them. They are almost to their destination. They are on the downward trajectory, and here's the earth. They are almost ready to strike. They are all almost lined up. There is one that lags a little bit behind, but he is going to get there relatively quickly too. This is change happening fast in your life. You may or may not have control of it. And the degree of control is normally clarified. This is you realizing that the change is happening, right? You do see that. You don't see the emotional opportunity, but you do see this, right? You may not even see the choice. This lady is blindfolded. But this is a change happening in your life rather quickly. Now, that is clarified by the 7, which is the last step before the 8 of this suit of change. And so what we have here is change. This is wrapping up the harvest so that you can realize the new opportunity, right? Before you can reinvest the gains from the first path, you have to harvest them. And that's what this is. When it is standing upright, 7 is the harvest, the completion, the finality of the path. Now, there is a new path. There is always a new path, but there is a new path that is presented after this. It is the 8. This is you not yet at the harvest. Now, when it is standing tall, this guy is in a defensive position. He has the high ground. He has the ability to defeat these attackers, but he is not swinging wildly. He is judiciously defending himself from these people who are attacking him from below. Right? This is not just an arrangement of past accomplishments. This is an active situation. This is change at the harvest, right before you realize that the new path is there. The mastery of maturity, right? The understanding that there is maturity to be reached in the path. And so when it is upright, this is a defensive position, letting the energy come to you in this spirit of change for the harvest. Since it is in the reverse, this is you taking a more active role in that, right? Being a little bit more aggressive. It is still the culmination of the thing, but you're taking a more active role in it. When it is upright, you're allowing things to come to you and you're defending yourself. In the reverse, it is more of a aggressive energy. And that is not to say attack anyone, but there are times when the best defense is a solid offense, and this may be one of those times. Next, we're going to go to the heart, and the heart is the area of true manifestation, what you want in your life. You envision it with your third eye, you put it into action here. You invest your energy. This is positive steps that you take on the physical plane. This is energetic investment. This is the tie between all 8 or all 7 of the other cards. This literally touches all, like it touches the as below and the as above and the divine. And so this is what you really want in your life. But this is what is this is governed by greed and charity. And so this is one of the major checks before manifestation, before you set any intentions, is making sure that you are not aligned too far to greed or too far to charity. Greed is associated with the mortal coil. It is loving the things just a little bit too much. Charity is associated with the spiritual coil. It is loving the things not quite enough. Neither one of those are intrinsically good. You are meant to have things, just not all of the things. You are meant to give away things, just not all of the things. For you today, we have a devil card. Now, the devil is about making appropriate choices, resisting temptation, doing things in the correct manner. This is a 15, and a 15 is going to be about a challenge and a change, right? This is challenges coming up in your life. This is the challenges of temptation when it is standing tall. This is telling you, don't be tempted to make a deal with the devil, right? That is the temptation, especially in the area of manifestation. Blood magic is wrong every single time. Making compacts with entities is incredibly unwise for a variety of reasons that I describe in my book. But mostly you do not have the ability to discern the positive and the negative entities, and making a deal with one is a bad idea, right? This was in the reverse. And so you are being challenged with temptation, but this is a little bit of a give in to temptation energy, right? That is not to say go buck wild and just give in to all of the vices, but there is an appropriate time for all of the vices. There is a time for lust. There is a time for chastity. There is a time for greed. There is a time for charity. There is a time for pride. There's a time for humility. This is making a judicious choice, right? And when it is in the upright, it is resisting the vices more than it is embracing the virtues. Now that it is in the reverse, it is resisting the virtues more than it is resisting the vices, which can indicate that you have a little bit of an imbalance towards the virtues. And that's not necessarily bad, right? It's not great, right? You shouldn't be out of balance. But if you're going to be out of balance, you want to be more out of balance towards the virtues than the vices. But you really want to be in the middle of all of them, right? Partaking in the right ways for the temptations. And this is you doing that, right? This is you relaxing yourself a little bit, allowing yourself to take part in the temptation just a little bit. This is not striking a deal with an entity. It will never be that as far as I am interpreting it. I absolutely refuse to let something like that happen. But this is absolutely making the appropriate temptation choices. Now that is clarified by an emotional situation. Now this is a choice about emotions. Cups are about emotions, the familial, spousal connections, those things. And so twos are about a choice. You have a choice down here that you are to make kind of blindly. This is you not making a choice about an emotional situation, or making a choice that leads to a negative outcome from an emotional situation. Now, it is intrinsically linked to resisting a temptation or a virtue. So this can be a little bit of a have a little bit of a good time situation. This is considered one of the marriage cards in the tarot, and at least this one has a good reason, right? You have the divine masculine and the divine feminine being united under the caduceus, even though it has a lion's head on it. This is a divine relationship. It is a choice about an emotional connection, right? Emotional connections, choice. This is divine providence. It does not have to be sexual. It can be, but it can be business. It can be just a friendship, right? Having a good friend is a good emotional choice. But this is you not making a choice, right? This is you making a choice for an emotional situation, actively making a choice. This is you passively making a choice or not making a choice. And so there may be something here that you are not supposed to be making the choice about in a relationship. You are being presented with a new emotional situation right here, currently in your energy. These are linked, right? This is the manifestation trio. This is the communication trio. And so this can be related to this new opportunity. It is probably related to it, right? You're being presented with it in a negative flexion, and then you have to make a choice about an emotion in a negative flexion. It is entirely possible that these are linked. And so whatever it is that you are trying to bring about probably has something to do with an emotional choice that you may not want to make. And it may be related to having relations in a different way than you are used to, maybe stepping outside of a comfort zone for that. And that is not to tell you to do anything, right? Tarot is never to tell you about what you need to do. This is various possibilities of the timelines, and we're just trying to bring about our highest one. And so this is probably an emotional decision. It is definitely a new opportunity. Next, we're going to go to the throat, and the throat is the area of communication. This is where you communicate. It is dealing with pride and humility. So you may be taking too much credit for your work. You may be giving away too much credit for your work. Neither one are good in and of themselves. You are meant to take pride in a job well done, but it does not make you better than anyone. What you have is change, right? This is a little bit less of a sudden change. Now, this is the area of communication, so this can be a change coming due to a communication. When it is standing upright, this is, this is a 7. This is going to be a completion and harvest card, right? This is the beginning of something new. This is the end of something. This is the clarifier for the earthly path. This is the clarifier for the King of Pentacles, so that might be related. But this is the area of communication, and when this is standing tall, it is quick movement. This is balanced movement. He is seated on his throne, the chariot. He is being pulled by the light and the dark equally. They are both yoked to the chariot. They are both pulling together. They are moving forward at a clip, at a good pace. Now, this is a little bit less of that energy, right? This is not moving forward fast, but it is still moving. This is the challenge or the harvest still coming, just a little bit slower. Now, this is related to a communication, probably. And so this communication can unlock some other things, right? If there is a choice to be made, you have to be presented with it. In order to get a spirit of communication, you have to have communication. And so this is indicating that there is a harvest of a communication, and you are taking a less active role in it. Now, clarifying that with some steps that can be taken, we have the Justice card in reverse. Justice, when it is standing tall, is the fair and equitable distribution of the law. He's got the scales of balance right here. He's got the sword of thought in his hand. This is doing things in the correct manner. This is an 11, and 11 is going to be an understanding card, so it is understanding how to take the appropriate steps in the appropriate way. Equally, with equal justice. He is between the pillars. That always signifies balance, but you've got it in the reverse. In the reverse, this is a little bit less consideration for fairness. Right now, that can indicate, again, like the balance, like that can indicate that you're not balanced in the right way, right? If you are giving too much consideration to someone else, that's not fair, right? You're giving too much away. The fairness is to retract that a little bit, to take away the extra that you are giving to someone else, the going out of your way to understand them. This is in the area of communication, and it is a requiring in the active position a little bit of unbalance. Now, if you want to bring about this change, you do what is on this card. And this is an unbalance yourself. Now, you have this in your current situation in order to manifest in your life. You've got the devil in reverse, which can be given to temptation a little bit. This is kind of a reiteration of that. These are connected, right? There is change occurring in your life, a challenge in your life. This is you being a little bit more aggressive. This is you stepping away from fairness and equality. And this is you making an emotional choice. That is all most likely connected. Next, we're going to go to the third eye, and the third eye is where you envision your future. It is hopes, dreams, and aspirations. What do you want in your life? What do you want in your life? Conflict. Nobody wants conflict, but conflict leads to change, and change is normally a good thing, even if it may appear to be wrong at the time. This is the 5 of Wands. Wands are about change. We have talked about that. It is life, light, logos, change, and intuition. This is your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, so it is heavily linked to your intuition. When it is upright, this is a congenial combat, right? We have, this is a defensive combat with the 7. This is congenial combat. They are all equally employed, beating each other up with sticks, right? Nobody's in any real danger. You might get a few lumps, maybe a concussion, but you're probably not going to die. And you're out there having fun, just combating each other. Now, you're not feeling the mirthfulness of it, right? It is a challenge. 5s are always challenges, and you are called to rise to meet the challenge whenever the card is upright. And this can be let the challenge come to you, right? You have this defensive energy that is in the reverse down here. So this is the challenge of change. This is letting the change come to you so that you can meet it. Now, clarifying that with some steps that can be taken, we've got the Sun. This is what you can do in order to bring this change about. Now, this is not a cooperative change. It is somewhat adversarial. You have this change over here. This change is about you being a little bit unbalanced. You have this change right here, which is you being a little bit aggressive. This challenge right here is you not taking into consideration emotional problems. There may be a relationship thing going on, and that is going to lead to all the good things, right? This seems like it might be negative, right? There is a whole lot of change occurring, and it is dealing with emotions and the stepping into your authority and away from allowing other people to have that authority. This is the Sun card, and the Sun card is almost as good as the World card. Now, this is the 19, which is 2 steps away from completion. The 19 is going to be change and challenge, right? This is change and challenge on the highest level, the emotional maturity level. And so this is in the upright. This is what you are being called to do, and this is actively rising to meet the challenge. And so these are both challenge cards, right? This one, you're not being called actively in your current situation about change. This one, you are being called in your current situation to change this one, right? In order to flip this card around, you do what is on this card. And so this card is telling you to rise to meet this with positive aspirations, right? The Sun is all of the good things in life. They have divine providence with these 4 sunflowers here. There's the Sun providing all of the good energy, the white horse of victory, and the baby representing a new life. All of this is positive. It is linked to change. It is linked to emotions. And so while you are not necessarily being called to embrace the change, merely to recognize it, not to actively meet it for change's sake itself, this challenge you are being called to meet is an emotional one, right? That is a reiteration of this choice. That is a reiteration of this. That is a reiteration of this and this. There is something big changing on the emotional level. And then we get to the Crown, and the Crown is where you interpret the divine's message to you. You receive a message from the divine. You feel responsible for relaying it to the tribe here. This is the message that you are getting directly from the divine. So it is the area of hope and despair. So if you are hoping beyond hope, everything's going wrong, and you're still finding the silver lining, this is the area where that might be out of balance. If everything is going great and you're still choosing despair, this is the area where you are out of balance. You have the World. This is a promise, right? This is the culmination of the entire suit. This is emotional maturity. This is intellectual maturity. This is physical maturity. This is change maturity. This is the culmination of the entire path of ascension. Right? This is the opposite counterpoint of the Fool. The Fool sets out, he doesn't know anything. This is knowing all of it. This is having all of the best things in the world. You have this presented upright in your area of responsibility. This is what you are wanting, right? This is what you interpret from the divine. And clarifying that with steps that can be taken is learning a new path on the spirit of provision. Now, this is Pentacles. It is about generational provision. That is one of the most common interpretations of this card. 10s for most people are the culmination. Now, I do the 7s and 14s for various reasons, but this is a provision card. Right? With the 7, you are finishing your harvest. But now you've got all of these seeds. What do I do with these seeds? Well, you replant them, and now you can get a bigger garden, right? This is that. This is, you have the seeds, and with an 8, you realize, I can plant a bigger garden. And then with the 9, you make the choice, I am going to plant a bigger garden. And then with the 10, you are learning about that investment, right? I have invested in this greater garden. Now I have generational provision. I'm not just providing for me, I'm providing for everyone, right? That's what this card is. Now, you got this in the reverse, right? So when it is standing tall, this is generational provision coming into you. When it is in the reverse, that means that there is a little bit less of that energy. And if you are being presented with the world right now, right, that is what is coming, right? All of this change leads to the world, right? To more provision. This is you actively learning about the situation, actively seeking out the new information, actively seeking out the new opportunities, right? That is learning about your new path. This is a little bit less of that energy. This is letting that change come to you so that you can learn about it as it comes along, right? Not learning about it prior to. Or this can be that you are not learning the correct thing in order to get to the world, right? This can be that you have more to learn in order to reach where you want to be. And then finally, we're going to come to the divine, and this is a direct message from the divine to you. This is not colored by any of the virtues and vices. The divine has the virtues and vices in perfect equality. And what you have is the new path, right? This is the choice of the new path of emotions. Now, you are being presented with the new path here in a negative flexion, so it's coming to you. This is you making the choice about it, right? Hopefully, you are taking due consideration for that. But the 9, when he is standing tall, this is the choice to reinvest those crops we were just talking about. And this is about reinvesting emotional gains, right? Cups are about emotions. Pentacles are about the earth. Swords are about thoughts. And the wands are about change in your intuition. This is about an emotional, mature choice being made. One of the things that can be attached to this is a little bit of pride. If you see the man sitting here, he's got a little bit of a smirk on his face. Some people take that as a little bit of a pride. It's not necessarily so, but it absolutely can mean that. So make sure that you are taking appropriate steps. But this is making a choice about an emotional situation more than anything else, right? This is not about your provision. This is about this new path that is being presented to you and you making a choice about it. Now, clarifying that with steps that can be taken is making sure that you are making clear choices, right? This is the queen. The queen is a nurturing energy. I don't think we've had a queen yet. This is the point between the challenge and the harvest, right? You have just finished this fight and you're wore out. You need a little bit of time to rest, to breathe, to gather yourself. This is that spot. You're not quite ready for the harvest and taking in all of the crops, right? This is a nurturing energy. This is putting the energy appropriately so that you can bring about the end, right? You're not quite at the end, but you're close. This is thoughts. Swords are about thoughts. You see the clouds are down. They are in the bottom half. That means that she is seeing clearly, right? She is seeing past the clouds for the first time. They are finally breaking away. This is giving the appropriate energy to the correct thought so that you can bring about the correct choice. If we take these two cards together in consideration with everything else that we have on the deck, what we're looking at is that you are being presented with a new opportunity, right? You have a new emotional opportunity in a spirit of cooperation that is bringing a lot of change. But in order for you to do so, you have to take appropriate action, right? You have to rest in the authority that you have, right? Nobody is better than somebody else, but sometimes we have a little bit more authority in an area than someone else. This is you resting in your knowledge. This is you understanding, right? This is you, after you have overcome, nurturing the correct thoughts so that you can reach the ability to make the decision for the harvest. And so, overall, what I'm seeing here is that there is a great change about to unfurl. It is related to a spirit of cooperation. It is a sudden change that you are not necessarily in control of, but you do need to step into yourself just a little bit more. That's going to bring us to the end of the reading. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow. Throw me a comment whether you agree or disagree with anything that was said. Put it in the box down below, and if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what I'm doing over here, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership or picking up a copy of my book where I teach you to do magic responsibly. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.